The Pines of California, a natural history guide. Journey through California's diverse landscapes to discover the remarkable world of its 29 native pine species. From the towering sugar pines of the Sierra Nevada to the rare Torrey Pines clinging to coastal bluffs, this definitive guide reveals the fascinating stories, distinctive features, and ecological roles of these iconic conifers. 1. Aleppo pine, Pinus halepensis. Native to the Mediterranean region but naturalized in California, the Aleppo pine is a drought-tolerant species reaching heights of 50 to 80 feet. Its bark is grayish-brown, deeply fissured, and its needles are light green, appearing in pairs, measuring 2.5 to 4.5 inches long. The cones are reddish-brown, 2 to 4 inches long, and remain on the tree for several years. This hardy pine is commonly used in urban landscaping throughout Southern California due to its resilience to poor soils and pollution. 2. Bishop pine, Pinus muricata. Endemic to the California coast. The bishop pine grows in a narrow range from Mendocino County to Santa Barbara County. This medium-sized tree typically reaches 50 to 80 feet tall and features paired, dark green needles 3 to 5 inches long. Its most distinctive characteristic is the asymmetrical cones that grow in whorls around the branches and remain closed for many years, opening only after fire exposure. The bark is dark brown to reddish-brown and deeply furrowed. 3. Coulter pine, Pinus coulteri, famous for producing the heaviest cones of any pine species. The coulter pine is native to coastal mountains of Southern California. These massive cones can weigh up to 10 pounds, earning them the nickname widowmakers. The tree grows to 80 feet tall, with thick, grey-brown bark and stiff, dark green needles grouped in threes, measuring 8 to 12 inches long. It's typically found at elevations between 3,000 to 6,000 feet. 4. Digger pine, Pinus sabiniana. Also known as grey pine or foothill pine,
this distinctive California native has sparse gray-green foliage that creates an open,
airy crown. Growing to 70 feet tall, it's characterized by widely spaced branches and needles in groups of 3, measuring 8 to 12 inches long. The large, heavy cones were historically harvested by Native Americans. The tree's grey-blue color and unique form make it instantly recognizable in foothill landscapes. 5. Foxtail pine, Pinus balfouriana. A high-elevation species found in 2 distinct populations in California, the Klamath Mountains and the southern Sierra Nevada. This slow-growing pine can live over 3,000 years and typically reaches heights of 20 to 50 feet. The needles grow in dense clusters at the branch tips, creating a foxtail appearance. They're dark green, short about 1 inch, and persist for 10 to 15 years. The bark is reddish-brown and deeply furrowed on mature trees. 6. Grey pine, Pinus sabiniana, also known as ghost pine. This native California species reaches heights of 40 to 80 feet with a broad, open crown. Its distinctive blue-grey needles grow in groups of 3 and can be up to 12 inches long. The cones are large and heavy, 6 to 10 inches long, and hang like ornaments. This drought-tolerant tree is common in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada and coast ranges, adapting well to hot, dry conditions. 7. Italian stone pine, Pinus pinea. Though not native, this Mediterranean species is widely cultivated in California. Known for its distinctive umbrella-like crown when mature, it grows to 40 to 80 feet tall. The needles are bright green, occurring in pairs, and measure 5 to 8 inches long. Its edible seeds, pine nuts, are enclosed in large glossy brown cones. The bark is thick, reddish-brown, and deeply fissured, with distinctive plate-like patterns. 8. Jeffrey pine, Pinus jeffreyi, a magnificent tree of the Sierra Nevada and Southern California mountains, growing to 180 feet tall. Distinguished by its vanilla, pineapple-scented bark and large cones with incurved prickles. The needles grow in bundles of 3, are 5 to 10 inches long, and have a bluish-green color. This species thrives at elevations between 6,000 to 9,000 feet and is often confused with ponderosa pine. 9. Knobcone pine, Pinus attenuata. Named for its distinctive cones that grow directly attached to the trunk and main branches, this medium-sized pine reaches heights of 80 to 100 feet. The cones remain closed and accumulate on the tree for many years, opening only after fire. The needles are yellowish-green, in bundles of 3 and 3 to 7 inches long. It's primarily found in the Coast Ranges and Sierra Nevada foothills. 10. Lodgepole pine, Pinus contorta. A versatile species found from sea level to high mountains, growing 70 to 100 feet tall. The coastal variety shore pine is often twisted and wind-sculpted, while mountain forms grow straight and tall. The needles are short, 1 to 3 inches, dark green, and grow in pairs. Small, symmetrical cones are 1 to 2 inches long. The thin bark is greyish-brown with small scales. 11. Monterey pine, Pinus radiata. Native to 3 small areas on the California coast, this fast-growing pine has become one of the most widely planted pines worldwide. In its native habitat, it grows to 100 feet tall with a broad, irregular crown. The needles are bright green, in bundles of 3, 4 to 6 inches long. The asymmetrical cones are 3 to 6 inches long and remain on the tree for many years. 12. Paripinion pine, Pinus quadrifolia, a small, slow-growing pine native to Southern California's mountains, typically reaching 20 to 40 feet tall. Its most distinctive feature is having needles in bundles of 4, occasionally 5, which are thick, rigid, and 1.5 to 2 inches long. The cones are small, about 2 inches long, producing edible pine nuts highly valued by Native Americans and wildlife. The bark is thin, smooth, and grey on young trees, becoming scaly with age. 13. Ponderosa pine, Pinus ponderosa, one of the most majestic and widespread pines in California, growing to heights of 200 feet or more. The bark is distinctively orange-brown, forming large puzzle-piece plates with a vanilla butterscotch scent. Needles are dark green, in bundles of 3, 5 to 10 inches long. The cones are oval-shaped, 3 to 6 inches long, with each scale tipped with a small prickle. This species is vital to California's timber industry. 14. Single-leaf pinyon pine, Pinus monophylla. Unique among pines for having single needles rather than clusters, this small tree grows 20 to 50 feet tall. The needles are stiff, grey-green, and 1.5 to 2 inches long. Its large, nutritious pine nuts were a staple food for Native Americans. The trees grow slowly and can live for 600 to 800 years. Common in eastern California's desert mountains and the eastern Sierra Nevada. 15. Sugar pine, Pinus lambertiana, the tallest and most massive of all pine species, reaching heights over 250 feet. Named for its sweet, resinous sap, this pine produces the longest cones of any conifer, reaching 10 to 26 inches long. The needles grow in bundles of 5 and are 2 to 4 inches long. The bark is reddish-brown with deep furrows. Found primarily in mixed conifer forests of the Sierra Nevada and Klamath Mountains. 16. Santa Cruz Island pine Pinus remerata, a rare species endemic to California's Channel Islands, particularly Santa Cruz and Santa Rosa Islands. Growing to 30 to 50 feet tall, it has a rounded crown and grey-brown bark that becomes deeply furrowed with age. The needles are in bundles of 2 dark green and 2 to 4 inches long. The small asymmetrical cones remain closed for many years, opening after fire. 17. Shore pine Pinus contorta var. Contorta, a coastal variety of lodgepole pine, characterized by its often twisted, wind-sculpted form. Growing 20 to 50 feet tall along the California coast, it's well adapted to salt spray and sandy soils. The needles are dark green, in pairs and 1 to 3 inches long. The small oval cones are 1 to 2 inches long and often remain closed for several years. 18. Tecate pine Pinus torreyana, also known as Torrey pine. This is one of the rarest pines in North America, native only to a small area near San Diego and Santa Rosa Island. Growing 30 to 60 feet tall, it has long needles in bundles of 5, measuring 8 to 13 inches long. The heavy, broad cones are 4 to 6 inches long. The bark is deeply furrowed and dark brown. This species is protected and considered critically endangered in its natural habitat. 19. Timber pine Pinus flexilis, also called limber pine. This high-elevation species grows from 30 to 60 feet tall, with some specimens reaching ages over 2,000 years. The flexible branches give it its name, allowing it to survive heavy snow loads. Needles are in bundles of 5, 2 to 3 inches long, and dark green to blue-green. The cones are cylindrical, 3 to 8 inches long, with thin scales, found in the Sierra Nevada and other high mountain ranges. 20. Two-needle pinon, Pinus edulis. Though primarily found in the southwestern United States, it occurs in small populations in eastern California. This small tree grows 20 to 35 feet tall, with needles in pairs, 1 to 2 inches long, and dark green to yellow-green. The cones are small but produce large, edible pine nuts. The bark is reddish-brown and irregularly furrowed. 21. Valley pine Pinus contorta var. Mariana, a variety of lodgepole pine found in California's inland valleys and lower mountain slopes. Growing 70 to 100 feet tall with a straight trunk and narrow crown. The needles are in pairs, 1 to 3 inches long, and yellowish-green. The small cones are 1 to 2 inches long and often remain closed for many years. 22. Washoe pine, Pinus washoensis. A rare species found in scattered populations in northeastern California and adjacent Nevada. Growing 60 to 100 feet tall, it resembles ponderosa pine but has shorter needles in bundles of 3, 4 to 6 inches long. The cones are 3 to 5 inches long with sharp prickles. The bark is reddish-brown and deeply furrowed. 23. Western white pine Pinus monticola, a tall, straight pine reaching heights of 150 feet or more. The needles are bluish-green, in bundles of 5 and 2 to 4 inches long. The slender cones are 5 to 10 inches long and hang down from the branches. The bark is grey and smooth on young trees, becoming checkered with age. Found in high-elevation forests of northern California. 24. White bark pine Pinus albiculis, a high-elevation species found near timberline in the Sierra Nevada and Cascade Range. Growing 20 to 60 feet tall, often with a twisted, wind-sculpted form. The needles are in bundles of 5, 1.5 to 2.5 inches long, and dark green. The purple cones are 2 to 3 inches long and do not open on their own, requiring Clark's nutcrackers to disperse seeds. 25. White pine Pinus strobus. Though not native to California, it has been widely planted and naturalized in some areas. Growing to 100 feet tall, it has soft bluish-green needles in bundles of 5, 2 to 4 inches long. The slender cones are 4 to 8 inches long and slightly curved. The bark is grey and smooth on young trees, developing shallow fissures with age. 26. Yellow pine Pinus ponderosa var. Benthamiana. A variety of ponderosa pine found in California's coastal ranges. Growing to 150 feet tall with a straight trunk and rounded crown. The needles are in bundles of 3, 5 to 10 inches long and yellow-green. The cones are 3 to 6 inches long with sharp prickles. The bark develops the characteristic puzzle piece pattern but tends to be darker than typical ponderosa pine. 27. Young pine Pinus aristata. Also known as bristlecone pine, this species can live for thousands of years. Though rare in California, it occurs in some high-elevation areas, growing 20 to 40 feet tall with a twisted, gnarled form. The needles are in bundles of 5, about 1 inch long, with distinctive white resin dots. The cones are 3 inches long with bristle-like prickles. 28. Yunnan pine Pinus yunnanensis. An introduced species occasionally planted in California gardens, growing 50 to 80 feet tall with a broad, rounded crown. The needles are in bundles of 3, 5 to 8 inches long and bright green. The cones are 3 to 5 inches long and broadly oval. The bark is grey-brown and deeply fissured. 29. Zigzag pine Pinus cultivar reflexa. A variant of coulter pine characterized by its distinctively reflexed cone scales, growing 60 to 80 feet tall with the same massive cones as typical coulter pine, but with scales that bend backward. The needles are in bundles of 3, 8 to 12 inches long and grey-green, found in scattered populations throughout the range of typical coulter pine.